What's up, fam bams? Excuse me. I just want to remind you today, if you've struggled with mental health stuff, if you've had depression, anxiety, addiction, ADHD, if you're neurodivergent, or anything else, I just want to remind you that you're still worthy of love. You are always worthy of love, and and something to be aware of, if you're not already, a lot of these conditions are caused by childhood problems. And if you grew up in a dysfunctional family or had like actual abuse and trauma, or if you had traumatic experiences outside of the family, or even just growing up in this world that is such a freaking mess, our society that's completely broken down. If you scratch the surface, you don't really need to. I mean, you just freaking look around at what we're dealing with right now. You didn't cause those things. If your parents didn't love you, that's not your fault. That's on them. You didn't make them treat you bad when you were 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 or 15 years old. You were a fucking child. And you deserve love and validation and honor and respect and good treatment. And so many mental health, quote unquote mental health issues, they're the result of these kind of things. And even ADHD, well, depression, anxiety, all of this stuff, they're often symptoms of actual PTSD and complex PTSD, which is not your fault that you have that. But if you've been blamed for these things, if you have shame inside, if you feel like you're a failure, like you're worthless, like you don't belong here, those are also results of abuse. It's not because you're actually a failure or broken or worthless or without value or that you don't belong here. You do. You have the right to be here. You have the right to fucking exist because you're here. And the people that were supposed to take care of you, that had the obligation to nurture you and protect you, the messages that they put into your sweet little innocent heart and mind, whether through abuse or just inadvertently because they couldn't show up for whatever reason. You know, this is so many people's story. Those messages don't belong in you, and they don't belong to you, and you don't have to keep repeating them over and over and over and over in your head. It's hard work. It's hard work to heal from this kind of shit, but I just want to remind you that you're worth it. You're not broken because you have issues or because you're struggling. If you have addiction, it's another big one in this culture. So much shame and blame and fucking abuse that happens from that. It's like a brain and chemistry imbalance disorder, coupled with usually crippling shame or depression or these other issues. And it's self-perpetuating, but it can be treated. You can be helped. And the biggest deterrent to that is freaking isolation. Is thinking that you're alone. Is thinking that you don't belong or that you're defective or broken or worthless somehow. Those messages aren't true and they're not yours. I just want to remind you today. You're worth fighting for. You're worth trying again. You're worth getting up. You're worth the battle to march on and to become the fullest version of yourself. And for a lot of us, that was part of the journey, or that is part of the journey. Shame is the real killer, man. When we hear those messages so much, so often for so many years, that we feel like the problem is us, that we're defective and broken, the shame that says we are bad, instead of guilt, which is more healthy and appropriate. Usually guilt is about an action that we did, and it shows that we have a conscience still. It says, oh, I did a bad thing. I did a hurtful thing. I hurt somebody else. I need to clean up that mistake. That's the healthy function of guilt. Shame is when you've been put into a state of guilt without reason for so long by somebody else or by society that you start to hate yourself and that you think you're the problem. Let me assure you, if you still have a conscience, if you haven't gone full narcissist or psychopath, if you still know right from wrong, if it doesn't feel good to hurt other people, there's hope for you. If you've crossed that line somewhere along the way and you don't care anymore and you think you have a right to hurt other people, or that it's funny, or that it's fun, exit stage left. You don't belong here. No, I don't. That's another conversation. But once somebody is on the cluster B spectrum and they choose to stay that way, there's not hope for such people. Not that I've seen. I've not seen or heard about any narcissist or psychopath recovering and reclaiming a human identity and a soul. But for the rest of us that are wounded, walking wounded, that picked up all this garbage from our family and from society, man, just give yourself a little grace, a little love. Take it a day at a time, step by step. Reach out. There's other people probably right on your street if you don't have any close friends or if you don't have family, but there's so many groups, online meetings and different stuff that you can do now for whatever it is you're dealing with, whether it's depression, grief, trauma, addiction. There's other people that are walking the same path, and the isolation is what keeps us sick and alone and thinking it's us, it's all us. It's not. We're human beings navigating a flawed and broken system. The system is what's broken. Society is what's broken. It's not you. It's not you. If you still know right from wrong and you still try to do right every day, even when it hurts, even when you're drowning in these fucking feelings, there's still hope. It's a new dawn for humanity, I believe. We're really turning a corner right now, you know, and a lot of us wounded healers are helping to usher in this new age, and you might be one of them. But even if you're not doing like active healing work in the world for your career or anything like that, just loving on yourself and healing yourself and taking it a day at a time, that's contributing to all the good of fucking humanity, to say nothing for your own life. For your kids or future kids or grandchildren, whatever it may be. Little tiny things that we do right now make a ripple effect that go across the ages and around the world. Every single good deed and good act, every single thing that we do coming from a place of love counts. So I invite you to love on yourself today. Love on yourself if you're fucking hurting, if you're feeling lost, if you're confused. Love on yourself. Give yourself a little grace and reach out. There's other people. There's other people that are walking the path as well. There's other people that are healing. There's other people that want to heal. And that can be one of the best feeling adventures in the world. And I know this from my own experience with addiction and recovery. And there were the times, especially in early recovery, when I felt so low, so freaking horrible and empty. And times when I considered using or drinking again. And reaching out and helping somebody else. Not in the sense of spiritual bypassing, because we want to avoid that, but when we're in a pinch and we feel like we're going stir crazy, reach out to somebody else that's struggling, or somebody that's even in a worse off place than you, and you'll find that it lifts your spirit up. It fills your fucking heart. It just feels good, man. It feels good. And our feelings are the compass to our soul and to the work that we're doing. And we don't have to force ourselves into these conditions and situations and work and all this stuff where we feel horrible all the time. Say, well, this is what I have to do. I gotta work this 9 to 5, this 40 hours, because it's just the way it is. It's not the way it is. It's not the way it is. It's the way we've been told and trained that it has to be. But it doesn't have to be that way anymore. And you don't have to punish yourself and then settle for like, okay, I can relax a little bit on Friday night and Saturday. No. Listen to your emotions. Listen to your feelings. Let those guide you. Let those guide you. That's your compass. That's how God speaks to us. Spirit. And what you're supposed to be doing when you feel good, when you feel really fucking good, that's revealed. The better that you feel on a regular basis indicates to you what you should be doing and who you should be around. And people that make us feel like shit, people that judge and abuse us, or people that aren't on a path of spiritual evolution and consciousness and upgrading their life, aka taking responsibility for who they fucking are, the more you heal, those people are just going to fall away. You're going to find like, no, I don't I don't want to spend time with this person, with this dynamic, in this environment. And a lot of times that's going to end up being your family, which hurts. And that's a trauma in its own. Cutting those family ties, especially if it's your parents, especially if there was a fucking abuse. But you can't stay in these toxic dynamics, because the shame and the self-loathing and all of the fucking garbage that leads to depression, addiction, anxiety, and all the things, it's just going to perpetuate. And society tells us, well, that's what you got to do because it's your family. Water's thicker than blood and all the rest of it. Nope. Blood doesn't attack its own. Blood doesn't destroy its own. Real blood loves, nurtures, protects, sees, holds, safe, steady, and all the rest. And if you never got that from your family, or if they do the opposite of those things, at some point they're going to have to go. But leave that for its own time. Like Yeshua said, worry about today, tomorrow will have enough worries of its own. Just a day at a time, and a little piece at a time, if that's where you're at. And if you're drowning in self-loathing or all these other issues that often overlap and often relate, just love yourself today. Do like one kind thing for yourself. Or if you're thinking really negative thoughts, and if this has been a habit for years, just catch yourself. You don't have to change them. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to fix everything overnight, because I know that's a thought that, or a belief that we can have as well if we've gone through it. So we just want to fix everything and have it done. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes we quantum leap, but a lot of times it's those little tiny daily steps. So just notice that voice. That voice that's treating you like shit inside, that says you're bad and you're broken and you're wrong and nobody will ever love you. Just notice it. Say, that's interesting. And the more you notice it, the more it's going to be revealed. Day by day by day. And the more that it's revealed, it will start to lose a little bit of its grip. Excuse me. Drop my phone. It'll start losing its grip. And then the more light you bring to it, it'll dissipate. It'll dissipate more and more. And eventually you'll be able to say, hey, that's not my voice. I don't believe that. That's not true. And then at some point you'll recognize where it came from. Maybe in something one of your parents said, or something you picked up from a TV show or from the movies when you were a kid, if you were raised by the television. Like a lot of us Gen Xers. All those random messages, man. It's not your voice. It doesn't have to be your voice. You can choose who you're going to be and what you want to create and how your life is going to look. Just a day at a time. One of the things that's really helped me in recent years is meditation. I mean, the meditation's been for a long time, but like meditative soundtracks and especially affirmations. Put a comment down below if you want me to put some of my favorite channels up here, but it's literally a bunch of them are on YouTube, and just the affirmation tracks, listening to those throughout the day or when I'm going to bed, falling asleep to that, it really does start to reprogram your subconscious mind. You know, even if it's hearing it from somebody else's voice for a while, until you can start to believe it and hear it in your own voice and start saying those actual literal things. And then sometimes you got to say them to yourself for a long period of time before you actually believe them. I know for me, it's coming on 6 years, maybe 7 years now, since I started doing that part of the work, 2019 and 2020. And it was like 2 or 3 years before they really started sinking in. And not until this past year when I was like completely rewired most of my belief system. There's tools for that too. There's people that can help you with that. There's books that can help you with that if you don't feel safe with people. But do what you got to do, man. Don't let those voices keep playing in your head. Don't believe that you're broken and that you're beyond repair and that you don't deserve love, because that's bullshit. You do. If you exist, if you're on this planet, you deserve love. And there's no case that's so hopeless that God can't fix it and repair it and heal it and bring it into the light. None. You're worth loving. You're worth caring for. You're worth protecting. And I hope if you don't feel that right now, if these are just words, I hope that someday you're able to. Remember, just take it a day at a time. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to jump from where you're at into your fucking dream life overnight. But just keep holding the vision. You got to figure out what you want beyond what society told you, beyond what your family told you. Dive deep in your heart. Ask God, ask angels, ask, whatever spiritual beliefs that you have. Or if you don't have any, just ask the universe. Or just quiet your mind, meditate if you don't believe in, like, God per se. God doesn't care whether or not we believe. God just wants to love us and give us everything and help. Just get quiet, figure out what you actually want. What does your dream life look like? Start to write it down, start to make a vision board. Keep it in private. You don't have to share it with anybody. Journal. It's a really powerful tool. Especially when we're feeling like we haven't made any progress, or that we are broken beyond repair because these tracks that are playing in our head, the old shitty ones. And go back and read your journal from 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And you'll realize how much you've changed during that time, in real practical physical terms. And if you start doing a visioning board and holding the intention and praying on it and meditating on it regularly and holding that vision, putting the goal slides in your mind, like Vadim Zealand, Transurfing is a really good book for spiritual evolution and manifestation. But just do those little baby steps, day at a time, and then you'll go back and you'll realize, holy crap, I actually manifested like all of this shit off my vision board, and I didn't even look at it for like 2 years. And all of a sudden it's like boom, 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 boom. They're right in your life. But the most important thing, I think, especially for those of us who've recovered from mental health and PTSD and related issues, the most important thing is when you realize that your actual belief systems have changed that you no longer feel like you're the problem and that you're worthless and that you're broken, because those voices aren't in your head all the time. The ones that were programmed into you, the ones that were never yours. And prayer, for me, prayer's been phenomenal. It's been the cornerstone of everything else. But, you know, spiritual beliefs and practices can look a lot of different ways. Don't force yourself to fit in anybody else's box, but do reach out. Reach out for help, reach out for guidance, reach out for resources, reach out for friendship and connection, because these things exist and they make progress a lot faster, a lot smoother, a lot more manageable, and a lot more fun, a lot more healthy. Of course, you got to be careful if you've been through abuse, because our radar can get jacked up about who's safe and who isn't. It's a learning process. It's a learning process. Day at a time, man. Day at a time. Just baby steps. Baby steps. And you'll be freaking amazed at where you are before you know it. Before you know it, your whole life is going to change completely and utterly. Got to get rid of that self-loathing, though. It doesn't belong to you. It's not legit. It's not real. It'll keep you in hell as long as it's there in your head, but it's not real. I love you guys.